House set to meet with their Chinese counterparts in London next week to further trade talks. President Trump on Air Force One telling reporters a recent call he shared with the Chinese president was productive.
We had a very good talk. I talked to President Xi for, I guess, more than 2 hours.
The White House looking to secure a deal regarding tariffs and rare earth minerals. America's listening to Fox.
Welcome. You're listening to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. How y'all doing this beautiful weekend? I'm doing pretty good. This is a big weekend for me. Probably you too as a regular listener. 15th anniversary of Winning at Life. You know, I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. I was about to get in some thoughts 15 years ago about this show. I am your host, Gregory Ricks. This is Winning at Life on iHeartRadio. If you're new to the show, yeah, we've been doing this for 15 years now. So this coming week starts year 16 of the show, which is pretty big. Wow. If you'd like to join the conversation today, I've got a whole list of people calling into the show for this 15th anniversary. You're welcome to join as well. Question for you is, and it's really one that I have for you, is what have you enjoyed about listening to Winning at Life over the years? You know, kind of, has it impacted? If you've got some stories to share of how maybe it has impacted or helped you, please share with us. The phone number is 504-260-0995. We're streaming on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel today. It is available for replay afterwards, and the audio is uploaded on Monday. So you could check us out on the Winning at Life channel and my personal page. At the break, I'm going to share the stream to my personal page as well that you can catch. We've got Jude Heath here, our first hour. He's got a topic on the big, beautiful bill to talk about, and I've got some questions regarding tax strategy / structuring that I've got on the top of my mind to ask him about. But we've got a lot of callers lined up that work with the firm, the advisors, analysts, and a few other people are going to be calling in. And you can utilize the Winning at Life app, as well as email your thoughts to info@gregoryricks.com. So we're here. This is a 3-hour show for if you're just tuning in to this show. And I'm kind of pretty well known in the community. We used to run the show on lots of other states. And going back a few years, we wrapped up the daily wrap that I had also, this show had morphed into a weeknight show called the Daily Wrap. And I believe airtime was 7 to 8. And I did that for about 7 years as well. Jude, what I was thinking of sharing with everyone is you know, we've done this for 15 years, and I had that big decision when they asked me to do a live show. And they were emphatic about it being a live show, not a pre-recorded show back then. The world was a bit different as well, where we've evolved more into a recorded world because of podcasts and streaming and video, and there none of that was really available, or it was just kind of starting back then. All these things we take for granted now, which makes the world so much easier to obtain knowledge and grow. But when they presented that to me, and it's going to be a live show, was my biggest question mark in my mind is, if I do this, I'm probably doing it for a long time. I didn't know what that meant, but I pretty much thought in my mind, if I'm doing this, I'm going to be doing this for years. I didn't know if that's 5, 10, 15, or 20, so it turns out to be at least 15 years. Definitely 16, because we're good for another year. iHeart's happy with us. They're keeping us on the air. So, but that was that big dilemma. It's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Am I capable? That is a big commitment. It's going to be Saturday mornings forever, is the way I looked at it, and that was part of my decision making on doing the show. Once I decided I could, as well as want to do this for a long time, then it made it easy to, we're going to do the show there. And I remember Mike Scott came up from Miami for a meeting, because I was still debating it at one point, along with this one thing that was holding me up is doing it. The other is like, oh my gosh, a live show, take callers. That means preparation every week for it. I'm just not sure I'm up for all that. Never done radio before, of course, public speaking. And I remember that meeting, and he had me up there to meet people and had a group discussion with me, and he was standing in the corner, and one of the things he said, he says, this is going to change your life. And it has, in a lot of ways, doing this radio show over the years. And I'm very appreciative of them giving me the idea, asking me to do this, and nudging me quite strongly to take this on as well. And one of the things we're blessed with is you, for example, being part of this show for years, and Wes Blanchard and others that have been a part of it. Dwayne Stein as well, and he evolved from being a contributor to doing his own show as well on that. So once again, thank you, Jude, for being a part of this. And Jude's in studio with us today. So once again, if you've got a question or topic you want to talk with him about, we'll let that roll, or any other question as far as and maybe sharing your thoughts of what you've enjoyed about Winning at Life Radio over the years as well. What impact has the show made on you, Jude?
Well, like you, Gregory, we've been with you, I guess, for about 10 years. And when you and I first met, I remember, sitting down with you, across the conference room, and, you spoke about that. You spoke about the commitment, and, a sister word to that is responsibility. And we do hold that dear, in that we teach first. We love to teach what we do. We love when folks light up, when it clicks and they get what we do. And so kudos to Mike for realizing just how many more people you could touch and reach, how many more families you could impact from radio. And for you taking that plunge, I know it was a considered plunge, and for us as well, it was a considered plunge, but we don't look back. It's been fabulous for us. We enjoy it every day. It's been a wonderful ride getting to know all of your folks. Both of our firms have had to expand to take on, the extra folks that we have helped in the process. And so it's just an enjoyment. And so many individuals have been impacted by this endeavor that you should just feel terrific about. Just puff your chest out. I know you don't. That's not you. But puff your chest out a little bit because you've changed a lot of lives.
Oh, thank you for that as well. And I'm very appreciative to you and the other contributors that have hung in there for so long, because it does take time from you, and you're juggling, especially during tax season, the workload as well as making appearances on the show, and it does take time out of your Saturday as well. And we've had other contributors in the past. We've had some leave, and it was just part of it was that commitment is kind of like, even if it's one Saturday a month appearing. But we've also had others that their business grew so much that like, oh, this is not quite what we were wanting to do. So in essence, they kind of like, we need to stop that because we're going to dial back the business, the success quotient from being a part of winning at life as well. And I'd say honestly, it's contributed a lot to the growth of Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority Advisors and Retirement Strategies. It's impacted the firm tremendously over the years because the show is a great platform for getting out my thinking, the firm's thinking, what we try and to do the community, and how we help people as well. So tease us on the big, beautiful bill here. Your thought.
So one of the aspects that we wrote about this week in some of our social media posts about the big, beautiful bill that I thought was really a fun topic to discuss is they are trimming back the deductions for anybody that purchases a professional sports enterprise.
So it's going to be more expensive?
They just won't be able to take all their deductions.
Oh, so it's been, well, I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit about what the billionaires are having to give up there. So that's not going to translate into us little guys, little business people.
No, we might pay more higher ticket prices.
Oh, goodness. I hate it for them on that. But I hate it for the people wanting to go to games. That's maybe they shouldn't raise the ticket prices. Shouldn't impact us because they've got to pay some more in taxes, huh?
Maybe. I doubt it.
But you look at it, I'm like, what Tom Benson back in the day, what did he pay, $57 million for the Saints or something? Like,
right.
Heck, I should have got a bunch of buds together and outbid him by a few million or something, because what's that team worth? $4 or $5 billion today? Hate it for those guys. They just make money hand over fist. You hear the music. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more of Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks on iHeartRadio.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension, lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull up to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein.
I'm not going to be like every other lender out there. I want to separate myself. And how do we do that? We do that with service. And service starts with answering your phone. And in this day and age, so many people just take a number on a piece of paper, go, here's your credit score, and say yes or no, we can't do that. And to be honest with you, that's just not fair. I think there's an opportunity to put everybody in a home, and that's what we need to be looking to do.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. 2 servings every Saturday, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast. where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
Less than half of Americans have drawn up a will. If you don't have one, you know you need to get one. But what if you do have a will? Is it up to date? Has anyone in your family been married, divorced, or passed away? Have any new family members been born or adopted? Don't leave your loved ones in a bind. Call me and we'll make you a plan or update your existing plan. Hi, I'm Wes Blanchard, an estate planning attorney in Metairie. What's your plan? Find me at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70. And you can keep working past that. That's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
And a little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch
Hey, y'all.
of a precious child, and know a mother's love.
One of my favorite songs, we've probably played this one more than any other over the 15 years of Winning at Life. It's a great one. Saw him and his great band in concert actually twice this year, and wasn't the first time, but it was a lot of fun. The negative on the second one, I did get tired of standing in the crowd, because you got to get there early. Then there's the first band, and then they played, and so I was a bit tired from that. First time I heard them, I was seated for most of it, so that was pretty relaxing to do there. You know, I'm 64, or am I 65 now? Going to be 65 this year, and so not a spring chicken of tolerating standing for hours. So, but once again, it's always fun to have great music in this world of streaming and building your playlists and stuff, and collecting songs like that is so easy today. Big game changer we've had over the 15 years that we've been bringing Winning at Life to you as well. I've got a lot of topics today, but I want to get into this big, beautiful bill here and how those team owners are going to struggle a little bit.
Right. So this is a good segue also into business purchase and business sales. And so what happens is there's a form that the IRS has where you break out the sales price by liquidity. Are you buying cash? Are you buying receivables? Are you buying fixed assets? Are you buying goodwill? The difference, obviously, between the assets and the purchase price is the goodwill. And the seller files a copy of that with their taxes, and the purchaser files a copy of that with their taxes. And so what the big, beautiful tax bill specifically addresses is for the future sales of any professional sports enterprise, the amortization, which normally would be 15 years of the difference, which is the goodwill, is cut in half. So let's say you get to the end, you're selling the Dallas Cowboys, and you get to the end, and it's X number of millions of dollars after the football helmets and all the equipment, the tackle dummies and everything else, and the difference is $1 million. What they would only be able to amortize $500, which means they'd only be able to take half of that amortization against their taxes. Doesn't reduce the value when they go to sell it in the future, just reduces half of the tax benefit over those 15 years.
So what are they able to do now prior to this bill being going to be passed?
The full amount.
100%. Over what period of time?
For the amortization, it's 15 years. Each asset class, obviously you don't write off cash or receivables, but fixed assets would be broken out by what kind of equipment it is or whether you're buying real estate or whatever is in the business. The reason why I thought this would be a good conversation for you and I to have is recently within the last, say year and a half, I've gotten several callers off of the show that are selling their businesses or somebody wanting to buy a business or something like that. And yet, obviously, depreciation and amortization as a tax write-off is a big part of that purchase price. And then the calculation of the gain for the seller is a big part of the selling price and what they want to get out of it for their families. And so I just thought that it was interesting that Congress is specifically targeting this one group of people, and it's only going to be for anybody that purchases one of these teams going forward.
So it's really targeting them, not all business purchases in general.
Correct.
Well, they're not happy about that.
Well, they were getting a terrific benefit for quite some time, so that maybe their happiness, I think they're doing okay.
So if somebody's buying a team for $5 billion, how much of that is being written off prior to this? So of the $5 billion, how do we come to what are they expensing?
So the first thing we have to ask is, what are they buying? We just had a...
Sometimes it's quite a bit. It comes with land, buildings, and the equipment and such. And sometimes it's just you're buying the team, which gives you a right to be a part of that group of 32 and make a bunch of revenue.
So hopefully the devil is in the details in the contract of exactly what you're buying.
Yeah.
And if there's any fixed assets, those have to be parsed out by their depreciable lives, so you can set that depreciation up. If there's any other assets that you're buying, land, like you say, buildings, all that has to be set up. The point is that this form goes down liquidity from cash, inventory, receivables, FF&E, down to goodwill amortization, and that goodwill amortization was being able to be written off over 15 years, and now what this big, beautiful tax bill is saying is just for professional sports teams that you don't get the full amortization of the goodwill. You get half of it. Still over 15 years, but you can only write half of the value off. And so I thought it was curious that they went after that one sect of, I don't know, what is it, 80 individuals or 80 consortiums that are part owners of these teams, and they said, okay, if you sell, then your purchaser cannot take these tax deductions. So, perhaps that comes out in sales price. We don't know. That we have to even see if the big, beautiful tax bill passes.
Kind of, if let's just say the value just getting you into the club of team owners is worth $5 billion. So they get to write off $2.5 billion over 15 years.
Well, that $5 billion is going to have to be parsed out by what are you actually buying. There are going to be tackle dummies and equipment and things.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
there's going to be equipment and all, but let's say they're not buying the buildings or own that because maybe the community or state put it up. They don't own the stadium. They just get the right. What they've bought is the name, the brand, some furniture, shoulder pads, and the right to be in that club where you've got like the L.A. Rams. You know, that dude owns a lot of real estate and all that came part of that and own the stadium, and that gets them a lot of revenue because they get a piece of everything else coming in because of that. So there's a lot more value there and different. So in essence, on what is write-offable, it's 50% of that, and it might not be the whole $5 billion. So let's translate it into us average Joes out there trying to buy a business and all. So we've got the ability to, if we're buying a business, say that business operates on a lease inside of a building, and we're buying the rights to the brand, the concepts, their processes, and so forth, and maybe some equipment and so forth there. So if we're buying that, and it does not include ownership or real estate, just the ability to take over that lease, what does that look like for us from an expensing standpoint of a purchase?
So what industry would this be?
Well, let's just use a restaurant, hypothetically.
Okay, so if
and then I'll change it to something else.
Okay, so if you're buying a restaurant and you walk into a lease and the landlord says, yes, I accept you, and now you've purchased all of the equipment and the rights to run this restaurant, and so the first thing you would do, presumably your seller would keep his cash, you would buy an inventory of food, that would be immediately go into cost of goods sold, so that would be an immediate write-off when you opened up. You would buy all of your equipment, all the tableware and the furniture, and then the difference would be, if there was no real estate involved, the difference would be goodwill amortization. And so that full amount, because it's not a sports team, would be able to be deducted over 15 years. There's a little caveat, there's a small startup expense of $5,000, but for the most part, it's all over 15 years.
So an example, buying that structure, say you picked it up took over that business for $200,000. And with how you listed that out, what portion of that $200,000 would be written off over 15 years?
Let's say
essentially.
Let's say you bought the restaurant for $200,000. It was $50,000 in the cooler and various food and whatnot. Maybe another $50,000 in FF&E. That'd be $100,000 that would be amortized.
How much? What's that number that's amortized again?
The difference between the other assets and the purchase price. So I just said 50 and 50, and 200 minus 100 is 100.
Okay, so it's amortizing about 100,000 of the purchase price. Let's come up with a scenario. If you, the listener, hey, you got a question, reach out to us, 504-260-0995. We'll be right back.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker who has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me. There's some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet. Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC. Gregory Ricks and Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans having thoughts of suicide should call the new Veterans Crisis Line number, 988, then press 1. It's available 24/7.
Fox News, I'm Paul Stevens. Hundreds of protesters in Los Angeles Friday condemning mass immigration raids. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on Fox and Friends Weekend.
It's a very scary situation when you have people out there that are trying to just pick up child traffickers and human traffickers, and all we're trying to do is to get criminals off the streets to make LA and other communities safer.
Alleged MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia back in the U.S. facing charges.
He is a criminal who should be deported. And at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to protect the American people and to keep our country safe.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche commenting on Fox's The Ingram Angle. America is listening to Fox News.
The world's in the toilet and the market's in the tank. Well, I can't fix that. No, but I can fix a drink, pour it on ice, mix it on up and get you feeling right.
Welcome back. Winning at Life. We may have been one of the first in the community to play this song when it came out. This might be the number 2 played song on Winning at Life over the years, coming in from breaks. And once again, love that song. And I even have a boat today, but I don't pull it anywhere. I got a place with the boat lift, and we can lower it, pick it up. It is such a pain to load a boat and pull it somewhere and store it and pull it back and put it in the lake. I'm like, I didn't think I'd ever have a boat, but my wife wanted a boat, and I bought her a boat last year. And so I have a boat. I thought I never would, but if I was having to haul it back and forth and do all that, I probably still wouldn't at this time. So it seems like, that's a lot of work. You're listening to Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. This is our 15th anniversary episode here. Been doing the show for 15 years. Next week starts year 16. Thanks for joining us. I have Janae on the line with us today. Hey, Janae. How are you?
Good morning, Gregory. I'm well. Happy 15th anniversary of Winning at Life.
Oh, thank you so much calling in today. And Janae Bridges is one of the wealth advisors on our team. We've got a number of our team members calling in today, and it would be awesome if you'd go to the website and take a look at their pictures and such as we pull them up. And how long have you been with us now, Janae, at Gregory Ricks and Associates?
A year and a half.
Year and a half. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you were working remotely for another firm and also working for another financial firm at the time that we interviewed you. And one of the things that kind of won me over for you just to start with, and the first interview is always really important there, and we used to do it the first interview by a phone call. Now the requirement is we do all first interviews on a Zoom, that if a person wanting to come to work for us can't navigate the technical part of doing a Zoom, then we probably shouldn't go forward at all. So what is kind of the thing that kind of wowed you about us, and what have you found unique about working with us and what we do for clients?
So, funny story, I was driving to get maintenance done on my car in late 2022, and I was listening to the News Talk Radio, and your show came on, and I was listening, taking in the information, because personally I was really interested in personal finances, so I found that I was learning a lot from your show. And in January of 2023, I actually downloaded the app, which sends my information over to the marketing team, and I got a call maybe a couple weeks later looking for me to come in, and I was trying to meet with you to get some knowledge on how can I be a great advisor. Milton is the one that called me, actually, and he was like, well, I don't know. I can't. My job is to keep the calendar busy, and these guys are busy in this office. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that's cool. So we disconnected, and he called me back maybe late 2023 with a better understanding of what it was that I needed. So he got me over to Olivia. Olivia pointed me to the website to send in my resume, and I did. And maybe a couple weeks later, I had my phone interview with you, which led to a spin in the day and an offer and a start a year from downloading the app. So I think just listening to your show and taking in that information is what impressed me the most. And when I came in, it was a great atmosphere. The office was gorgeous. You walked through the door, then I saw a celebrity in my eyes because I was a fan of the show. And to be able to sit with you and meet the team and understand how it was that you all were helping clients was just amazing to me, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So here I am today, a part of the team, helping our clients, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's something we were going through training yesterday, and the afternoon session, all of us were sitting together. The analysts and advisors were together in a room, and Brandon actually gave a presentation on how to conduct a discovery meeting, which is somebody coming in for the first time and getting to know them, and kind of the process that we go through on that. And then in the afternoon, after Brandon did that, then we basically talked about cases and what we do. I kind of use this definition of iron sharpens iron. So we present, practice, and have discussion about case proposals, like somebody coming back for a second meeting, and the advisor discusses what is discovered on the first meeting, and then how are they preparing and what are they going over, and how are they going to be helping and making suggestions or giving advice to the client or prospect in that second meeting. And we did some of that yesterday. What was your thoughts about how we do things like that?
I think it's very beneficial because when I'm not a lead advisor, so I am sitting in meetings with the lead advisor, listening to them talk, how they present, our philosophy, and I'm learning. And to be able to get together with the team on Friday and go over how everybody presents, using their unique words and still presenting the same philosophy, because at the end of the day, we're a team. It's your philosophy we employ, and we want to make sure that every client knows that no matter who's here, they're going to get the same service no matter who steps in. Doing that on Fridays has been phenomenal. I look forward to it to be sure that I know what I'm talking about in meetings should I need to step in, that we're all saying the same things, and I just think it's wonderful, us gathering together.
Yeah, and that was what we did in the afternoon after lunch. And some of what the team does on Friday mornings is they catch up on details and preparation, because we like to have next week kind of prepared for. And then we hold a team meeting kind of going over new ideas and things we are picking up this week from where our resources that we have, and sometimes we're doing webinars as well. So we do a lot of education and training to make sure that we're at the top of their game, and that obviously has impacted you tremendously, because it impacts me as needing to be prepared to teach, as well as we all take turns in helping bring that information forward. Anything else you'd like to share from your year and a half?
I've taken away so much from our team, things that I didn't know before. When clients call in, I feel more equipped to answer their questions, and if I can't answer it in that moment, I know I have a team behind me that I can go to and make sure that we're helping clients anytime they call in. So I just want to say our team is phenomenal, and I love being here. And Gregory Ricks and Associates, I'm biased, but we do the best in town.
Well, that's you hear me say it all the time. We are the best firm in the country. We are the best at what we do. And if we don't believe that, why should we be doing what we're doing there? And there's just so much for people to absorb and understand in managing their money. And one of the things they should, and maybe and that's where I kind of brought up last week on the show, a la carte. Maybe you don't want us to handle everything, but we do a lot of things that you cannot resource or access without us. There's things that unique to us that we have that you can't access on do-it-yourselfer, and there's things we do that you're not going to have the capability at the firm that you're at. And this large team of people that can support you and look out for you. And I think that's really important. And people just don't understand that aspect of having a team that's dedicated to help you and has the resources for the investor to move forward with. Once again, thanks for being a part of Winning at Life. Thanks for being a part of Gregory Ricks and Associates, a Total Wealth Authority, Janae. You're going to have a great future. I'm sure of it. Thank you for calling in this
Thank you,
segment.
Gregory.
Have a great weekend. Well, there's the music. We're going to take a break again. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my TSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne taste in a beer sour. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500 in. Is there anything we could invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
The match should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I won some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Oh, Rover, you have fleas again? Prevent fleas and ticks from setting up shop in your backyard. Those bloodsuckers can bite up to 400 times a day and carry nasty diseases like typhus and tapeworms. Give Rover some relief and contact Mosquito Joe. Their mosquito control services also kill and prevent fleas and ticks. Let Mosquito Joe be your first line of defense against those blood-sucking pests. New Orleans.mosquitojoe.com. New Orleans.mosquitojoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
At the core, I always tell people, I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here to make sure you don't run out of money, that you don't run out of income. That's how I look at my job. Over time, saving, making good decisions can make you rich. But what you have is, what is your core thing? Your core thing should be making money. And your core thing, you should set aside money to work elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to put it to risk. You could put it to safety. But your core thing makes you money, or you tell me your core thing is the market, day trading, or gambling in the market. It shouldn't be. You should have a core thing that makes you money, and you peel some off for the future when you're done with your core.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hey, y'all. Listening to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. We've been bringing this show to you as of today for 15 years. Thanks for tuning in. I have a lot of people calling into the show, but you're welcome to join us as well. 504-260-0995. Yeah, that's another... I guess David DeCorbier has been our longtime board op at the main station that connects us to the listening world. And gosh, he's playing all my favorite ones. That's another favorite of mine that we've listened to over the years as well. Thanks, David, for the playlist today on bringing us in. Let's go to the Winning at Life hotline. We have Lance Malter. Hey, Lance.
Hey, Gregory.
How are you doing?
Happy 15th year anniversary. How are we doing?
Oh, it's a great day. It's a great day.
Absolutely. Another day is a great day.
Yeah. Always having the next day. We're not guaranteed those, but when they start, it's a great day when you wake up in the morning. And I'm so blessed to have a great team around me at Gregory Ricks and Associates. And one of the things I tell people, I am so blessed. We as a firm, we as a team are so blessed because we get to work with great people. We get to work with great clients there that, you know, we don't work with people we don't like, and we don't work with people that don't like us, right? So it's always enjoyable from that standpoint. It's like, wow, we get to do this every day. So very blessed and very blessed for the team. So our team is really important. Why? Because our team takes care of the clients as well. And you need a great team of people that get along. And one of the things we did as a team, we went to Mexico. What was the community? Puerto Vallarta? I get the name wrong.
Yep, Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, I got it right then? Wow. Yeah, so kind of the first time we've done this ever is we kind of took a long weekend and took the entire staff and their plus ones down there for a few days. That was pretty wild, wasn't it?
Yep. Yes. And it was an absolute blast getting to see a side of a coworker, the funner side of a coworker that you usually don't see on a regular basis. So it was a great connecting opportunity, and it made me feel closer and more connected, and I think that's going to translate to the work life as well.
Yeah, and I'll share a little bit more about you to the listening audience because Stacy and I, between the both of us, we've got 4 children. The oldest is David up in New Jersey, works for a pharmaceutical on developing drugs for those that, or treatments for those that big pharma kind of like is, they don't take the time for those smaller niches there. And then also we've got the triplets. Stacy came with triplets when we were married, and you're one of those triplets there.
Yes, I am.
And you joined the firm last year, and which we were excited about. And then Luke Malter is another that's reached advisor level on the team and is a certified financial planner. And I hear you're working on your CFP as well, as the word has gotten out. If I might share that, put a little pressure on you.
Yeah, I'm studying that right now, and it's a long process. So I'm gonna have to check in a few months from now.
Okay. Well, we got to put it out there that you're working through that. Just a little pressure, and we've got Luke that's going to probably join us on a call later. And actually, we have Emily Malter on the board today, operating the board for us, and she's done it from time to time. And she's in PA school and going through her rotations now, but she used to help us quite a bit on the board. One thing about Emily, she interned us, first summer in college, and she did an awesome job. And then at the end, she had a talk with Stacy. She says, well, now I know what I don't want to do. And it meant she didn't want to come back and intern for us again while going to college. So she moved into medicine, and we're not a medical firm, so it obviously wasn't a fit for as well. But you and Luke both interned that summer as well. And Luke joined us a little bit before you did as well. So once again, when you see them on the staff, this is also a family business as well, where 2 of our sons are involved in the firm. What was kind of the biggest impact for you since joining the firm?
So just to, for the listeners out there, to introduce myself. So I started at a huge accounting firm, globally, 250,000 employees. I worked there for 3 years, and then I transitioned over here. I've been here for 11 months, and my work anniversary, first year, is coming up next month. But I would say the biggest thing is working at a larger firm. I feel like I didn't, get to make the impact that I can here with changing from 250,000 employees or coworkers to 22. So I feel like we all have a chance to really make an impact, not only with each other, but the clients that we serve. So I think that's the biggest thing is, since I've been here, the impact that I'm able to make and will be able to make, I think, is one of the big things that, I like moving to such a smaller, type of work environment and firm. So that's one of the big things.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of remote work before, and we're not much into remote employees as well.
Right.
So we're blessed to have you on board. You have a lot of talents that we do utilize, so we're blessed to have you on board as a family member. But you are a great team member as well that brings a lot of abilities, and we look forward to you progressing in the firm, and behind the scenes you're helping a lot of clients and make a difference. Thanks for calling in today. We appreciate you, Lance.
You know, Gregory,
Love you.
I had one more quick thing.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I've known you for longer than this radio show has been around, and I'm just wondering, you know, first off, it's been the progress that you've made has been absolutely unbelievable. Any advice, or, you know, what is different from today's radio show than it was when you first started, and what does that progress look like? Just how has it changed so much, and how have you, you know, seen it in a different light, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, I had no idea what I was in for, but I, you know, like worrying about prep, taking live callers and all like that. And it turns out that was not a worry, because we go into meetings every week with clients and those wanting to check us out, and we don't know what they're going to ask, but we also want to be prepared. So I'm always prepared for the show. Part of that is because of my daily reading and research, so I always have ideas and content, and just being prepared to be able to go in the meetings. I'm prepared to take callers. The biggest change in the show is how technology has increased in a way that we can consume more information, have it readily available.
Absolutely.
And then with the streaming and the social media and the live streaming and the podcast, the audience that we reach is actually international, because we've had international callers over the years call in to the show as well. So it's just unbelievable, the reach. And I said that's the things that have changed. But once again,
Absolutely.
I think for anybody listening, what's good is keep educating yourself, reading, even if it's just spending 10 to 20 minutes a day. Read something that will help make you better at your job. Awesome.
Well, Gregory, thank you so much for having me on. This show has helped so many people, and what you've done the past 15 years has been remarkable. And I'm excited to start with the firm and keep growing.
Thank you. We're blessed to have you. Look forward to seeing you in a very successful career here. Thank you, Lance.
Same here. Bye-bye.
Well, we got a break coming up. Jude, real quick, Subchapter S, filing. What is that, and why maybe somebody should do that that's a business owner or setting up one?
So it was established by Congress years ago, really, for small business to help them save double taxation in the beginning years of their growth trend. And so it allows you to choose your marketable salary that you pay yourself. That's the double tax piece. And then the rest flows through, the flow-through entity via K-1 to the individual's tax return. So you're not paying the FICA on everything. It's a marketable salary, and then the rest flows through. And, of course, it allows you some really cool deductions. We talk about backdoor, the super backdoor Roth, the mega backdoor Roth. It's a fun vehicle for individuals to save for their families.
Can you hang around a few more minutes? Jump into the next segment with us? Okay,
Sure.
Because I want to dig into that a little bit deeper for business people, and then we'll cut you loose. Thank you, Jude. This is Winning at Life. We'll be back for Hour 2 shortly.
From the Gregory Ricks and Associates Wealth Management Studios, WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.
Fox News, the man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Now back in the U.S., he faces multiple federal smuggling charges.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says the indictment against Kilmar Abrego Garcia alleges he made more than 100 trips transporting undocumented immigrants throughout the U.S., including MS-13 gang members and minors.
It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico.
Also accused of abusing migrant women, trafficking guns, narcotics, and playing a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community.
If convicted, he'll be returned to his home country of El Salvador after completion of his sentence. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia and his family repeatedly denying allegations that he's an MS-13 gang member, and they claim he fled gang violence in El Salvador. The U.S. Supreme Court grants DOJ access to data from the Social Security Administration.
The Supreme Court greenlights DOJ, also known as the Department of Government Efficiency, to access data from millions of Americans. The court lifted a lower judge's block despite dissent from the 3 liberal justices. DOJ now gets immediate access to sensitive records, including Social Security numbers and health information. Critics warn the move threatens privacy rights.
And that's Fox's Chanley Painter. The Trump White House says it's going to meet again with their Chinese counterparts in London next week for more trade talks. On Air Force One, President Trump saying that a recent call he shared with the Chinese president was productive.
We had a very good talk. I talked to President Xi for, I guess,
Welcome to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. Welcome to the show. This is our 15th anniversary show. Can you believe it? 15 years of Winning at Life today. I knew when I started it, was asked to do it 15 and a half years ago, that I knew that I would be doing it for a long time, but I didn't imagine that long time was 15 years. Wow. Question for you, listener to the show, listening. What impact has the show made for you over the years? You're welcome to call in and join the other callers that are calling in, 504-2600-995. If you want to, and you're new to the show, want to know more about me, your host, go to GregoryRicks.com. You can find out more about me and the wealth advisory firm that I head up, which is also one of the show sponsors as well. Let's jump to the Winning at Life hotline. We've got Dwayne Stein, one of our longtime contributors to Winning at Life and show sponsor as well. Hey, Dwayne, how are you doing today, brother?
Man, I am fantastic, and what a milestone, and congratulations to you. And I can tell you how Winning at Life's impacted me. It's been amazing, and, since having me on as part of the Total Home Authority now, almost a dozen years, it's been life-changing for me, no doubt, and just what your show has shown me and allowed me to bring to my audience over at Mortgage Gumbo is just how important education and showing people what options are, and when it comes to, those big decisions that folks have to make in life. And, kudos to 15 years, and I love when you tell the stories, Gregory, about how your first show, you were like, how am I even going to get through this show, right? Like, doing 1 hour, and here you are dominating the airwaves 15 years later. It's quite an amazing feat, and happy to be, affiliated, knowing you and everything that you bring to the audience for sure.
Yeah, so many stories about you I can tell, but that's kind of remember a conversation. We were having lunch at Acme, and we're
Yep.
talking about you doing your own show, and I suggested to that, and I said, trust me, we'll help you with this, and it's going to be great for you, and you did trust us as well on transitioning to have your own show. So that, for Winning at Life, that is a huge impact that Dwayne Stein evolved to having his show Mortgage Gumbo as well.
And I think, Gregory, what makes you is just being a pioneer. And look, it's no secret that you have over 15 years set the bar and set the standard. And one of the things I've learned, and it's so much more in your realm, Gregory, of often imitated, never duplicated, right? You've got the Winning at Life, and then you've got those who try and emulate and do what you do, but the authenticity of how you deliver and the message that you share with the audience and your clients is just, it's second to none. And I think, look, you understand, I understand this in learning from you. You wouldn't last 15 years on radio, even if you wanted to, if it wasn't working, if the message wasn't getting out there, wasn't the right one, and because, hey, we're putting ourselves out there, right? So it's here for everybody to listen to and understand. It's not behind closed doors and saying things. So I think for you, just that bar being set in the entire industry of what you've done is why 15 years is, an awesome feat, but it's earned, and just the effort that goes into that for you to be on air every week for 3 hours, and hey, mix in a couple years of giving up 5 days a week of your personal life that as well. So the commitment is amazing, and to be able to do that 15 years is crazy. Hey, when I 15 years ago, Greg, I was still wiping my son, who's now in college. We were potty training diapers, at 4 years old, so to speak. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Gosh, at times you think that just doesn't seem like very long ago.
Right.
Us getting to work together and all the things that we've done and the successes that we've celebrated. We've celebrated your successes and your firm's growth and then your fame from mortgagegumbo.com. You've come up with some really unique ideas that separate you in your industry and being a go-to guy that people can lean on to get some help in probably their biggest expense everybody has in their life, and that's buying and financing a home.
Yep. Yeah, and especially, Gregory, these last couple years, and that's where when and you've kind of taught me this as well. When times are good, people borrow money. When times are bad, people borrow money, right? So it's making sure that you look at everybody from a whole and understanding that everybody's different and understanding that and taking a step back and, always putting the client first and doing what's right for them, not for the firm, so to speak. It's about what's right for that client and understanding that we've got to deliver for them every single day and in every single deal, whether it's $1 million purchase or $110,000 purchase, right? To that client, there's nothing more important, and you have to make sure that you are expressing that and showing them that as you go through the process.
Yeah, one of the things, just thinking about real estate and purchases and financing, and we can always, you could always argue that debt is bad and that's a problem.
Right.
But also debt can be good. And sometimes, buying something and getting a great low interest rate is great, but sometimes you're needing to make that purchase, and it's kind of like, I don't care what the rate is. I'm paying market rate, but that's going to be fine because I know I'm going to have it paid off in this period of time. Or I know that it's going to double in value, or I'm getting a great deal. I've got to get this done. And you've helped me on a property purchase, and you've also helped giving me guidance on another deal that I put together and bought by leading me to somebody that could handle it. And all these are unique situations, and that's a credit to you that even though you might not could get it done, you will redirect us to where we need to go to get that handle so we can get that purchase and take a long-term view is something else you've helped with as well.
Well, it's big picture, Gregory, and, that's why 15 years of you just here offering Winning at Life is what we're celebrating. But let's face it, it's a lifetime achievement award for you, and the pride and your story for me is one that when you share and how you got involved and all this stuff is something that it helps me reflect back on and remind myself on why we do what we do. And, for you now, 15 years on air, when you look at your whole body of work, it's absolutely amazing and just one heck of an accomplishment. That's for sure. I mean, and it's impressive, and I'm just proud to be part of it in any way, shape, or form, for sure.
Well, I'm glad to call you my friend, and that's been invaluable in our friendship, how it's grown over the years. But I'm glad we've also been able to work together and for you to have growth and win from what we're doing. That's what Winning at Life's about. Thanks for calling into the show today. We look forward to having you back on the show soon.
Congratulations, 15 years. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
Dwayne is awesome. That's just all I've got to tell you, because the guidance he's given me and help, and there's times that he'll call, bounce off ideas or questions for me. I do that in the other direction of him and don't mind sending clients his way ever about that. And sometimes somebody might be unhappy. Well, he told you the truth. Some people are going to be unhappy with me. I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes where I have to tell people, you need to stop trading in your account. Why? They just keep burning money. That's a whole nother topic that I have to talk about today. But I've got Jude here. I asked him to stay for a few more minutes, and we were talking about subchapter S's, to where one of the benefits of it early on, but Jude tells me, well, you can't do that forever. The IRS doesn't like you running a unprofitable business forever. The intent is to make money, not the intent to lose money. So, and a subchapter S helps you with that, but it's also not a forever strategy. Is his mic back on, Emily? Yep.
So subchapter S's can last forever, but of course, as your profitability rises, and so then does your marketability, and your market wages then do rise. Now, as you know, the Social Security cap for wages increases every year. And so from the standpoint of balancing what is your market worth, if somebody were to go out into the marketplace and try to hire Gregory Ricks away from Gregory Ricks and Associates, what would they have to pay him to entice him to move away? What would his W-2 have to be? Obviously, it would be more than the Social Security wage cap this year. And so when you look at the good tax planning that comes from an S corporation early in the years of an enterprise, that's where you really get your big bang for your buck. Is while you're growing, you get to save a little bit of taxes. It's a tax advantageous way. We talked a little bit about some of the great retirement plans that are available to small business. You can really push the envelope and get yourself headed in the right direction.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. We're going to talk about that more when you come back and are on the show. Thank you for helping us over the years. We really appreciate you, Jude.
Thank you.
And your family and your team. God bless you all. We're going to take a short break. We're going to speak to Brandon Blanchard when we come back from the break. Be right back.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull up to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein.
I'm not going to be like every other lender out there. I want to separate myself. And how do we do that? We do that with service. And service starts with answering your phone. And in this day and age, so many people just take a number on a piece of paper, go, here's your credit score, and say yes or no, we can't do that. And to be honest with you, that's just not fair. I think there's an opportunity to put everybody in a home, and that's what we need to be looking to do.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. 2 servings every Saturday, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast, where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
Less than half of Americans have drawn up a will. If you don't have one, you know you need to get one. But what if you do have a will? Is it up to date? Has anyone in your family been married, divorced, or passed away? Have any new family members been born or adopted? Don't leave your loved ones in a bind. Call me and we'll make you a plan or update your existing plan. Hi, I'm Wes Blanchard, an estate planning attorney in Metairie. What's your plan? Find me at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70. And you can keep working past that, that's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
I believe most people are good and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better underneath.
Welcome back to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio, 15th anniversary episode. Benefit today is you get to hear a lot of stories for people that have been connected to the show over the years there, and people that work at the firm and family as well, as it turns out, how these things have evolved. And we appreciate Dwayne Stein calling in last segment, and over the last hour having Jude Heath actually here in studio. And you can kind of just a couple topics we had him talk about there, and especially like the last one, subchapter S, the value that his knowledge brings. And kind of if you picked up what he's always worried about is what might cause an audit. Love that kind of, he's looking out for you in that advice, where we might be more like, I need to save taxes, I need to reduce taxes, but what might you be doing that might generate a closer scrutiny that maybe you don't want? Let's go to the Winning at Life hotline. We've got Brandon Blanchard, one of the wealth advisors at Gregory Ricks and Associates. Welcome to Winning at Life, Brandon. How are you?
Hey, Gregory. I'm doing very well. How about you today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. It's a great day. Every day is a great day that you get up and get to face the challenges of life. I'm very blessed. I'm blessed to have you on the team as well with your tremendous abilities and knowledge and what you bring to the clients and your friendship as well. So what kind of would you say the show, working with us, and what we do? What do you think significant about what's impacted you?
So I think one of the bigger things that have benefited me and my career and my ability to help people is the sheer variety that the show and the clientele we meet with in office brings to the table. No two situations are the same. There may be a lot of similarities, but every family has their own goals, their own unique features that we need to navigate, and a lot of different desires that we need to help them be able to reach. So being able to see that kind of exposure and get that level of knowledge from family to family has really done a lot for me.
Yeah, but that is every day's fresh challenges. Every hour, every meeting brings something new, different situation, and that shows a lot for the ability we as a firm and the advisors have to be able to handle that. And I say, when people don't realize it, but it's the sounding board is one of the things, and it's what they don't know. What have they not thought about? What have they not planned for? And we see all these situations because of, and you've been with us over 7 years, and of course you've got great life experience. You came from an accounting background as well, and that's what I think's really important. You can go get mutual funds from any firm. You can get ETFs from any firm, but there's a lot of things I explained that they can't get elsewhere. And the do-it-yourselfers, there's things we bring to the table that do-it-yourselfers don't have access to. But be able to sit down with you and go through concepts, and you explain things, and even from a technical aspect, you're super on top of that. But what you bring is life experiences and case experience of working with other families and households to the years. And it's kind of like, you've heard me tell this story where I guess it was a couple years ago, somebody asked, why should I hire a financial advisor? And then I answered that question with a question to start with. Well, how many financial plans have you built? And he stated one. And it was either going to be 0 or 1, because what he built was his own. And I said, well, we've built thousands. And what you should worry about is what you don't know. What have you not thought about? What have you not covered? Your thoughts, Brandon?
No, I think that hits the nail on the head, and I like how you reference the sounding board idea, because that's not just the sounding board of clients asking us questions. It also works internally for us as a team. I can't tell you how many times people have come to the table with a situation that I have never encountered, but I'm able to go back to the rest of the advisory team, whether it's you, Nicholas, Mason, Gregory, yourself, or anybody else out there, and I'm able to bring that to the table, say, here's what this family is looking at, and I can get some good advice from people who have encountered that situation before. And you just don't get that with the one-man show type of operations. A team is very important to have on your side.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that it's a team that's in sync, like an example of yesterday, and I spoke earlier in the show when Janae called in about like how we do training, and iron sharpens iron, because we kind of, late in the morning on Fridays, we kind of go over new stuff, information we've received, or things we've learned during the week we talk about as a group. And then after lunch, like, for example, yesterday you presented how to go over a discovery meeting, how you do that. And we're not dissimilar, but there's always little things to learn, how you might say something, or when you might ask a question, and why you do that. And then after that, we had some cases presented, say, preparing for a second meeting with a prospect. So we do that. And I think, and that's what people maybe don't realize, that we are practicing and prepping to make sure we're better every week. Your thoughts on how that's helped you?
It's not just making us better, it's also making sure we're on the same page, because that team approach, it definitely is important to what we do. We want to make sure that every family who meets with us, they have that consistency, whether you're meeting with myself or Nicholas or anybody else on the team. Like you said, there may be some individual variation between the way I say something or the way he says something, but we want you to feel comfortable having that continuity of advice. The same level of advice that I'm going to give you is the same thing that you, Gregory, will provide to anybody else that comes in the door.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because what we have is, you might say things a little bit different, but as a firm philosophy in how we advise clients and how their assets are guided or managed, and the advice we're giving is pretty similar to each advisor. It's not like if they sit down with you versus Mason or Nicholas, there's not going to be night and day difference. There's not like you're doing different portfolio selections. Everybody's in sync using the best methodology going forward. Your thought?
100%. We want to make sure that we have that ability to give you that advice, not only from myself, but on demand whenever you need it, whether I'm out on vacation or out sick or otherwise unavailable for any reason you can think of. We want you to make sure that you have the confidence of having that on-demand access to good advice.
Yeah, that's tremendous, and I really appreciate what you do for us, what you do for clients over the years, and the contribution you've made to the Winning at Life radio show over the years, and will continue to do so forever. How long this goes, I don't know. I have trouble seeing it go 15 more years. I don't think we'll be on for 15 more years, but I don't know how long this goes. But as long as we can make a difference and help people, and that's what we do in our day jobs, is at the core, is make sure we're bringing value to everybody that we sit down with. Any other thoughts you want to share?
I'd just like to always make sure that people are staying up to date on their plan. You mentioned earlier that we have to meet on those Friday mornings to determine what's changed, what do we need to do to adapt. The only thing that's constant in this world is the pace of change. So you want to make sure that you have flexibility and an ongoing look at what is working and what is not working, and what do you need to do to adjust.
Yeah, and that's one reason we kind of refer to the annual meeting not as a review, which we do review in that, which really is easy and doesn't take long, but it's more about going forward. What's changed? What do we see changing? And talk about what changes we might make this year, or I'll kind of refer to them as tweaks or adjustments. And what are we seeing further down, like the next year or two? I'll ask you that last thought to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I always tell people the pace of change is something we need to stay on top of. Now, the plan we put in place, the overall goal is likely not going to change very dramatically from month to month, year to year. But the conditions that we have to operate under, those do. So we need to make sure that we have a plan that is flexible and it's something that we can make small tweaks on just to stay on track. You're still trying to get to the same destination, but the road that you take might change along the way.
Yeah, and for the listeners, there's always a team of people that's attached to you. Lance Malter is the analyst that helps you in meetings, and you're connected to service people and typically another advisor, and I oversee all the teams there. So you have a great group of people looking out for you if you're working with us here at Gregory Ricks and Associates, the Total Wealth Authority. Thank you, Brandon. I'll see you Monday. You have a great weekend, my friend.
Thank you for having us. I'll see you soon.
Okay. You're listening to Winning at Life. We'll be right back.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me. There's some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet? Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks & Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC, and Gregory Ricks & Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans, download the VA Health and Benefits mobile app. It's like a one-stop shop for veterans using VA healthcare.
Fox News, I'm Pam Puso. Despite some headwinds, House Speaker Mike Johnson remains determined to get President Trump's big, beautiful bill passed.
The president is making good on his promises, and we are too, and that thing is on a glide path to be passed before Independence Day, so he can sign it into law.
Former Trump ally Elon Musk blasting the bill on social media this week, calling it an abomination. After being returned to the U.S. from a prison in El Salvador, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was wrongfully deported, landed in a Tennessee courtroom.
The Department of Justice has charged Abrego Garcia in Tennessee with conspiracy to unlawfully transport illegal aliens for financial gain.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. The return of Abrego Garcia follows a series of court battles. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey, y'all. Welcome. You're listening to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. You can kind of see, been busy with the callers today, calling in for our 15th anniversary show. Team members, advisors, analysts, how everybody's been impacted, but what I think for you, the listener, is what's powerful about this is behind the scenes. What you're getting a glimpse of is the people, the team, how it's impacted them, how they love what they do in helping you, the listener of the show, as well as those that are looking to get help with their money and make good decisions on the money, because what you need is to have success with your money going forward. Errors are a problem for this to, errors that leads to running out of money or not having enough money as well down the road. It's kind of disastrous. And here's one of the things I always kind of say is, if you're going to run out of money at a point in the future prior to death, when would you want to know? I'd kind of like to know now so that I can make adjustments. And that's part of having somebody to use as a sounding board and can do analysis and spot problems that you're not even aware of as well. Let's jump to the Winning at Life hotline. We've got Paul in Houma, Louisiana, calling into the show. Welcome to the 15th anniversary show, Paul. I'm doing great. It's a blessed day.
Yeah. What do you think about annuities, and what kind of guarantee is your money on that?
Well,
I know they're paying pretty good.
Yeah, we are really in a great world with annuities because and I'm a fan of fixed annuities, which those provide guarantees that are backed up by the insurance company. I'm not a fan of variable. That's kind of like, why would I want to buy mutual funds or ETFs inside of a wrapper that's going to add an additional fee to that? So I'm not a fan of variables. What I like is fixed, and we use that kind of on the right side of Invest 50/50 because what it also provides is guarantees. And we can utilize fixed interest annuities. We can also use indexed linked annuities to get the upside of the market with no downside exposure. Go ahead, Paul.
What is your rate that you would pay on? I'm gonna throw a figure out there. That money that I don't need for 10 years, say $200,000. I like that Gainbridge. I think it is Gain.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's a fair question because we could shop and give you specific interest rates, but also in shopping interest rates, you need to look at, what's the surrender period, what's the quality of the company, how do you take income from it or extract or exit? Is it qualified or non-qualified?
10 years.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's a number of variables to look at. And I don't know if I have a block of money that I wanted risk off money, and we have a lot of clients that utilize zero risk because they prefer annuities. Of course, we have a lot of clients that use both investments like stocks, bonds, buffers, and such like that, as well as annuities. But when you're kind of saying 10 years, I would like possibly, if you could score possibly more money, I would more want to think about doing index links so I can get the upside of what the market does, subject to caps, but have no downside exposure. So at no time is future losses in the market going to take it away from you once those gains are locked in. And that's more of a discussion of that. And if we were having a normal show today, I actually have two topics here I was going to cover. And one of them is, are annuities the missing piece of your retirement puzzle? For a lot of people, it is, especially if they don't have it in there. And one of the other things to consider is sequence of returns, and that's if you're taking income from a stock bond portfolio and you have negative market conditions, that could impact you, and it might cause losses that you can't recover from, and it's a reason to have some risk off tools in your chest, so to speak. So I can't ask you specific yield. Oh, I could pull up and shop rates, but that's really not the purpose of the conversation, is what's the best rate. It's what's the best situation that's going to be best for you over the next 10 years, and then what's going to happen beyond that on taking income or what you're needing to repurpose in that money. And we need to talk, how does that compare to the other assets that you have, it being the right fit? Does that make sense, Paul?
Yeah, I was just, I mean, like, I don't even need this money. This will be, in other words, it would be extra money.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do is gain.
Yeah. Well,
and that way, I can leave more to my daughter.
And that's a good point.
Or if I need it in the future,
yeah,
then I'll be good with that.
Yeah, leave on money that you might need, but it's also you're thinking about leaving it behind. How can that be better? One of the things we also look at that in planning is that assets that we project to be left behind that you're not going to need. Another thing we think of that is, how do we turn that into a multiple of that instead of what you're doing or what you're thinking about? How about, is there a way we could leave her even more because of that block of money you're thinking that's going to be left behind? How can that be more? It's a reason to have a deeper conversation with us as well. Thank you for listening to Paul to Winning at Life. And listen,
y'all have anything in Houma?
We can start with a phone call. We can do a Zoom meeting, and we've got offices in Gulfport, Metairie, and Mandeville for you to come to.
Yeah, I listen to your show all the time.
Yeah.
I appreciate the information you're giving us.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul, for listening to
thank
Winning
you.
at Life. Let's jump back to the Winning at Life hotline to Wes Blanchard. Hey, Wes, how are you?
I'm well, Greg. How are you today?
Man, doing great. Blessed to be able to be here and do this 15th anniversary episode. Something I never dreamed of when I was trying to decide, do I do this? Can I do this? 15 and a half years ago.
Yeah, well, look, it's been incredible. I think, people like Paul and everyone else that's ever called into the show, we usually leave them, I think, a little better well-educated than when they initially called in. And overall, positive experience, obviously, for everybody that's listening. And it's, it's a service to the community at large to put out the knowledge that you do, and I'm happy to be a part of that. I think I did the math a little earlier today. 10 years, so 10 out of 15 years, we've been partnered with you guys and appearing on the show. And look, it's really been a pleasure, and I hope it's many more ahead of us.
Yeah, and I remember a conversation that we had when we were looking to add somebody to the team, so to speak, in your capacity, and you were working for another law firm at the time, and I remember sitting down and having a conversation with you about it being an opportunity that you should consider taking, and which would lead you to being out on your own. I think that was a pretty good dinner, we had with that discussion.
Yeah, that worked out really well, obviously. And, it was perfect timing. It's one of those moments, I guess, of like serendipity, right? It all came together at the right time for everybody. And, it's definitely been a beneficial relationship and decision on both sides of that dinner, for sure.
Awesome. I'm glad it worked out for you, because it darn sure has worked out great for us and our clients, having you help them. Thank you for calling into Winning at Life today and being a part of the team. Bless you and your family.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. This is Winning at Life. We'll be right back.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my GSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne tasting of your salary. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500 in. Is there anything we can invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
Then I should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I won some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Oh, Rover, you have fleas again? Prevent fleas and ticks from setting up shop in your backyard. Those bloodsuckers can bite up to 400 times a day and carry nasty diseases like typhus and tapeworms. Give Rover some relief and contact Mosquito Joe. Their mosquito control services also kill and prevent fleas and ticks. Let Mosquito Joe be your first line of defense against those blood-sucking pests. NewOrleans.MosquitoJoe.com. NewOrleans.MosquitoJoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
At the core, I always tell people, I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here to make sure you don't run out of money, that you don't run out of income. That's how I look at my job. Over time, saving, making good decisions can make you rich. But what you have is, what is your core thing? Your core thing should be making money. And your core thing, you should set aside money to work elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to put it to risk. You could put it to safety. But your core thing makes you money, or you tell me your core thing is the market, day trading, or gambling in the market. It shouldn't be. You should have a core thing that makes you money, and you peel some off for the future when you're done with your core.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Yeah, that's my girl in the passenger seat. Windows down, dancing around, causing a scene. That's my girl, sipping Crown and Sprite and a ball cap turned back. Ooh, she got me like, yeah, baby girl, you gone and done it again. Making all the guys wishing you were with them, but I bet they don't see what I see when I see my girl.
Welcome back to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. Yeah, if it was not the anniversary show, I'm been pretty busy with callers, which is a good problem to have. But two topics. I had annuities on my mind today, and I'm going to go ahead. Hey, pull Mason up. Turn on him to the show. Welcome to the Winning at Life, Mason. I'm going to ask you to listen for just a moment and get your thoughts on this because it's a great topic. But you may have heard Paul call in to the show asking about annuity rates and such as that, and it's not that quite simple because one of the things he kind of brought up in the end of that, and that's why to have discussion, it's not just about annuity rate, and it's how annuities, if you're wanting risk off, no risk to your money, it's backed up by the quality of the insurance company. So it isn't like putting money in stocks and it potentially going down. There's risk there. But it's not just about interest rate. It's about how that part of money relates to the rest of your portfolio. It's also the purpose of that money in the future. He gave one thing as, well, I'd like it to get a certain amount of yield over the next 10 years. But then he disclosed that he wants to make sure it's left behind to his daughter, which then also gives another thing, is that if we do indeed see that this is money that is going to be left behind based upon his financial plan, and we're assuming he's accurate on that because he could be off, and that's part of the analysis that we do. No, that may not be left behind, or you might have more left over. And another equation is we look at that. How could that then, if that's your leave behind money, how can we turn that into a multiple of that? Instead of leaving her that future value of $200,000, why not leave her $500,000, $600,000, $800,000, right?
Exactly, and that's kind of why our process is so important. It's not just so easy giving a stated rate or just throwing out a number out there. It's no, we have to make sure it's something suitable for you, but also fits into your plan. And so there's a lot of data gathering that goes into that before just firing off anything about numbers, right? It's a lot more, how does it fit into your plan? Because I know he mentioned, hey, he has other assets too, and he's mentally bucketing this money for this, and we just kind of have to come to a same page and agreement before, you just make recommendations one-off. So, yeah, those questions aren't so easy sometimes.
Yeah, and we can talk about sequence of returns on this because he brought up, where he's got other money that's market money but doesn't want this money to be that. So we say, considering the risk, if risk is acceptable, we know over the long term, say over a 20-year period, the market historically has said it outperforms fixed interest rates. Okay? But it does have risk there to it. So if you don't want to have that risk, then annuities can be a tool, and I brought up fixed indexed annuities, which gives you the upside of market returns without exposure to the downside. Over long term, those history shows fixed indexed annuities outperform fixed interest rates, correct?
Right, because you have that interest based on the market, and without that downside risk, you are kind of limiting those big dips and those big turns in the market. It can be a really critical piece of your portfolio, if we sit down and decide that. So, but yeah, you're right. A fixed rate can only get you so far, and then there's purchasing power risk. There's so many things that go into it that kind of makes indexed kind of edge those fixed rates.
Yeah. Quality of the insurance company, the rules for extracting that money. And some insurance companies, and we won't name names here, but some that we dislike is kind of their rules on exiting. I like the money to be able to come out after the surrender period if the client wants it, because things might be better or they might have needs. How can you take out money during the holding of the annuity, which because of yield, you've got various lengths of holding periods that can be from a few years to, I've seen 16, 17 years. I think on fixed index, I think the sweet spot that we've talked about is 10 years. But how do you access money during that, and how can you move it at the end of that period if you wish to do so? Those are things to consider, and it's not just about that yield out there
one number, right?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of important to consider also as well in building a plan for that. And we've got clients that like everything in risk off, and I'll say most clients use a sort of blend of both. And it's not a bias towards us, it's a bias towards helping a client fulfill what's comfortable for them and them reach their goals with their money. Mason has been, how long have you been with Gregory Ricks and Associates?
I just made 3 years, I think, last week.
Oh, man. I'm sorry I missed that day. Congratulating you.
The donut party. Yeah, I'll be expecting one of those.
Okay. The donut party. well, we can hook you up. I just won't eat any. I'm kind of like, I can't eat sugar anymore. So with that said, that's wow. And I knew when I first interviewed you, I knew you were going to be great and talented, and you've proven to be even better person to have joined our firm and work with clients, and everybody on the team, as well as everybody that meets with you, loves you. You just have a natural way with people. And what do you enjoy about being with Gregory Ricks and Associates and working with the families?
I mean, working with the families, it's really, it's really fulfilling, helping them pursue their goals and to show them with the programs and different things and tools we have that all their hard work and everything they've built to this point is actually working for them. So you can feel, that relief and security they have in their plan, which is really the biggest indicator that we're doing our job well. And just year after year, getting to know the people. Each meeting, you actually become, I guess, more and more a part of their lives. You become more of their one of their more trusted support structures, so they lean on you during tough times or good times, which only strengthens as years go on.
Yeah, Mason is a wealth advisor at Gregory Ricks and Associates, and also a certified financial planner as well. So you and Luke are the CFPs, and we've got a couple other people on the team that are working towards obtaining their certified financial planner certification.
In the pipeline, that's right.
Yeah, so you're a great inspiration for others as well. Another thought, this came up this week where a person had called in, spoke with Milton about this, and Milton brought it up to me, and they were kind of like, and they're inheriting money from a relative that deceased that we have worked with for years and years. And he just was concerned about annuities. He said he doesn't like annuities because your money can go away in those. And here's the deal. There's a lot of different types of annuities, and one of them, and you and I talked about this in our training yesterday, is there's various types of annuities, income annuities, and there's one, it would be a life income annuity where somebody turns on life distributions from a fixed annuity, which means it's paying an income, and when you die under the life option, if there was a balance left, may or may not be, that was computed into the life income for max payout, meaning that there won't be a balance to go to a beneficiary. It's the same if you're turning on a pension with your company and you choose to take the pension and you take it as life income for your life, not to continue to your spouse, which it could, but you choose it to just be upon your life, and that gets max payout, so there won't be a balance to the pension going out. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, and so that's why you kind of mentioned we like to keep flexibility within our products and our tools that we can use, so you're not backed into a corner. We don't always annuitize those annuities. There's different options and different things when it comes to liquidity and distributions that you can put into place, and that's kind of why you need someone reliable you can lean on to think about it.
Yeah, we like to stream income from them. It is a rare event, and it's somebody specifically has requested that strategy to annuitize a life payout. Because I asked in the meeting, how often do we do that? It's a quick answer, simple answer is like never. We
Almost
like
never,
those assets to produce income and then the balance pay out to them. Just to be clear, we like to see the money move on to the beneficiaries as well. So that's really important, but it shows it's complicated, more types, need to have discussions. Thanks for calling in. You're a valued member of Gregory Ricks and Associates and a contributor to Winning at Life. Thank you, Mason, for calling in. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Congrats again.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow. Okay, we're going to be back in 6 minutes with hour 3 of Winning at Life. We'll be back shortly.
From the Gregory Ricks and Associates Wealth Management Studios, WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.
Federal charges against an illegal immigrant. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. The Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador, then returned to the U.S., landed in court yesterday. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has more.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says the indictment against Kilmar Abrego Garcia alleges he made more than 100 trips transporting undocumented immigrants throughout the U.S., including MS-13 gang members and minors.
It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico.
Also accused of abusing migrant women, trafficking guns, narcotics, and playing a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
These facts demonstrate Abrego Garcia is a danger to our community.
If convicted, he'll be returned to his home country of El Salvador after completion of his sentence. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The Supreme Court grants DOJ more access to sensitive data.
The Supreme Court greenlights DOJ, also known as the Department of Government Efficiency, to access data from millions of Americans. The court lifted a lower judge's block despite dissent from the 3 liberal justices. DOJ now gets immediate access to sensitive records, including social security numbers and health information. Critics warn the move threatens privacy rights.
Fox's Chanley Painter. More questions about Medicaid cuts in a Republican-backed tax cut and spending bill. President Trump said social programs will be there for those who qualify.
We're going to save and totally cherish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. The Democrats are going to destroy it. They'll destroy it. We're going to save it.
Democrats say social programs will suffer devastating cuts if the bill passes. America's listening to Fox News.
From around the world, Trey Yingst, joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel. To Washington, I'm Mike Emanuel. To your own backyard. If a story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
ICE immigration raids in California turning violent. Helmeted police in riot gear turned out last night in a tense confrontation with protesters in downtown Los Angeles. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem joined Fox and Friends Weekend to react.
They are politicians who are out there jeopardizing the lives of people for politics and an agenda. And that's what, I mean, the President of the United States was awake last night, concerned about our law enforcement officers. Pete Hegseth was involved. Everybody was there. What can we do to bring peace?
Earlier in the day, impromptu demonstrations erupted at some of the raid locations. Russia launching one of the largest attacks on Ukraine since the start of the war.
Authorities today say that as many as 3 people have so far died. As many as 21 were wounded, including a baby boy and a 14-year-old girl. Ukraine's Air Force says that Russia fired more than 215 drones and missiles overnight. Now, across the border, Russia's defense ministry says that its forces shot down 36 Ukrainian drones overnight. Russia says this week it had vowed retaliation after Ukraine's sabotage attack targeting Russia's long-range bombers. The daily and often deadly attacks are becoming a familiar story. Even as these attacks ramp up, both countries are also preparing for summer offensives. And there's growing indication from Washington that they could walk away from efforts to broker a ceasefire.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. A nationwide egg recall due to salmonella. It's tied to the August Egg Company, which recalled the eggs yesterday. This after 79 people across 7 states got sick from the same strain of salmonella. The eggs were sold to restaurants and retailers. A first for American tennis star Coco Gauff. She has won her first French Open title by beating top-ranked Irina Sabalenka. I'm Pam Puso in New York, and this is Fox News.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker. He has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me with some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You're listening to Winning at Life, live financial news talk radio. We've been bringing this show to you for 15 years as of today. All I can say is wow. Show's impacted my life in a big way. Well, it is a commitment to be live every Saturday. Used to do that every Saturday. Now we do some best ofs mixed in with that as well. I think I get to have a little time off once in a while from the Saturday show. But if you'd like to join the conversation, 504-260-0995. You can watch us on the Winning at Life app as well. Hey, everybody out there watching us on our Facebook Live or our YouTube channel. The show will automatically replay at 1 o'clock when we sign off with this hour, so you could catch the whole 3 hours of the show, because you've probably missed some really good stuff. Had a great discussion last segment with Mason regarding annuities. Jude Heath was with us first hour and talked about some tax strategies among the callers that were calling in. I've got a pretty good topic for Nicholas here. He's joining us in this segment. Nicholas Rohde, one of the wealth advisors at Gregory Ricks and Associates. Hey, Nicholas, how are you doing?
Hey, doing well, and good afternoon, and congratulations. Like 15 years is such an accomplishment to be proud of. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wow. It was a pretty big decision in making that because of the commitment. You had a big decision years ago, and that was joining our firm. And we hired you over from the banking industry, I'll say that. So how long have you been with Gregory Ricks and Associates?
That's what I was about to say, is that so it's 15 years for the show, and I think I've been for like 12, coming on 13. So almost the entire time, which blows my mind too. It's been an amazing ride, and yeah, almost the same length of the show time.
Yeah. You and I have been busy fellas for years and years and helping people and working together. And now a big part of what you do besides helping clients is you transfer that knowledge to the ever-growing team that we have at Gregory Ricks and Associates. And you have tremendous knowledge, and you have a tremendous way with people that benefits them, and your patience shows through, and it is a great quality that you have in helping people work through their questions and concerns. I do have
and
a
it's
question.
huge for me too,
Yeah.
as far as the
Go ahead.
team. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. I was saying again, what you just said about the team, like that's one thing I love is that this career, you never stop learning. You know, one of our favorite sayings lately is you don't know what you don't know, whether it comes to investments or anything in life. And just, the knowledge we have and constant learning and then sharing it with the team and the advisors and the analysts, like it's really fulfilling, and I love that part of it too.
There was a lot of good stuff we discussed yesterday, and I talked with the audience here about how we do Fridays, and you actually run a late morning meeting, which is kind of covering new things. We'll either have one of the firms that helps us in coaching or have a coaching call from an outside company. We kind of have a few of those that happen a month. Sometimes it's on a Friday with Mike as well, typically. And then sometimes some of the big money management firms will Zoom in and bring us up to speed on what they're seeing so we can share that with clients. And then sometimes we're sharing like what you were sharing yesterday in some of the morning meeting with our discussion with Drew. And I wanted to bring that up with our listening audience here. And kind of one of the cool things where we were talking about risk tolerance and risk capacity. And you were sharing that with the team as well. And that was kind of like a wow moment in discussing with Drew, because that's an important part to single out what risk capacity do they have, or spending capacity. If you spend a block of money, that could impact you on the back end. That's kind of where I know I've had discussions over the years from a spending standpoint, where somebody says, well, yeah, I want to buy a travel trailer or a motor home and travel the country when I retire. And we start doing the math of that. It's going to impact your income and the back end of assets. They really don't have the capacity to make that big spend because it's going to cause them to run out of money, possibly on the back end. On risk capacity, it's the risk of losing money that you don't have that impacts you in a way of running out of money. I'm going to let you elaborate because you did such an excellent job on that yesterday.
It's such a great topic that people don't really think about when you hear about all these talks about risk tolerance. And even any financial advisor and us as well, we want to know what is someone's tolerance and how they feel about their money moving up and down. But what I love about it is using our guided planning system to actually show the capacity, like you said, on someone might say, oh, hey, I think, I could probably tolerate losing 50 grand because I know it'll come back in X amount of years or 100,000. They might be able to tolerate that just psychologically. But when you plug in the data and the math and all the variables we put in, we're trying to build a plan. We might determine, hey, you might say you're okay feeling that, but your money and your lifestyle doesn't have the capacity to handle that. If you were to take that hit, that capacity there just whittles away your finances, and your lifestyle is not going to be what you were expecting. So it's a really eye-opening thing that we talk to clients about, and people come in to kick the tires and see if we're fit. Is just saying, we want to know what their tolerance is, but that capacity is something many people I don't think talk about, and it's a great conversation to have with clients just to be, that sounding board and teammate and try to find those blind spots they may not be looking for.
Yeah, another way to kind of define is think about margin, and that's how tight is your plan on generating income and having adjustments for inflation and such over the years. So that's kind of where some scenarios we look at where people are coming in, we're discussing retirement, income, and such, and it's not looking good on the back end. It's going to be really tight, or they may be short of money. And what that also means is they have zero capacity, and they should be more conservative in their portfolio, meaning the asset allocation, more conservative than more risk, because people think the opposite way. Well, I need to take more risk, and actually it's the opposite. Last final thought. I've got
Exactly.
20 seconds.
No, just I think it's worth having a conversation. So if people listening out there are not having these conversations, that's why we'd invite them to come on in and sit down with our team and see if we may be able to bring some value to it all.
Thank you, Nicholas, for calling in. We appreciate you so much. We'll be right back.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
Could this be your Social Security, your 401k, pension, lump sum, your debt, student debt, credit cards?
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years. Sometimes I'll pull over to the side of the road and just listen.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein.
I'm not going to be like every other lender out there. I want to separate myself. And how do we do that? We do that with service. And service starts with answering your phone. And in this day and age, so many people just take a number on a piece of paper, go, here's your credit score, and say yes or no, we can't do that. And to be honest with you, that's just not fair. I think there's an opportunity to put everybody in a home, and that's what we need to be looking to do.
Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. 2 servings every Saturday, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can hear the Ask Gregory podcast, where you'll find episodes based on a financial topic. So if you're looking for help on a specific situation, there's a good chance you'll find it on the Ask Gregory podcast, including episodes on 401ks, taxes, stocks, Social Security, gold, and whether or not you should buy an RV. Hear the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
Less than half of Americans have drawn up a will. If you don't have one, you know you need to get one. But what if you do have a will? Is it up to date? Has anyone in your family been married, divorced, or passed away? Have any new family members been born or adopted? Don't leave your loved ones in a bind. Call me and we'll make you a plan or update your existing plan. Hi, I'm Wes Blanchard, an estate planning attorney in Metairie. What's your plan? Find me at wjblanchardlaw.com.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
If you do not have money set aside, you do not have retirement assets, you don't have significant savings, you're thinking, well, when should I turn on Social Security? I'll answer that for you right now. You should probably work as long as you possibly can and as much as you can, because that means you defer Social Security as long as you can up to age 70, and you can keep working past that, that's fine. But at age 70, you have to turn it on because you've maximized it there. And you've created the largest possible payment, and you're going to need all of that.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hey, y'all. Oh, my gosh, I'm having so much fun today on our 15th anniversary show. Another favorite song of mine being played. Awesome. Like that. That's a fun part of the show is kind of hearing portions of these tunes every Saturday. Hey, we've got people calling in, most of them affiliated with Gregory Ricks and Associates. Show wouldn't be possible without that firm to bring you this information to help you with your money every week that we've been doing as of today for 15 years of Winning at Life, the radio show. I've got Milton and Luke on hold. Luke, hang in there. We'll be to you in a few minutes. And Milton, welcome to Winning at Life. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, Gregory. Hey, all righty. Congratulations. 15 years, huh?
I know. That's like, wow.
Man, what a milestone. It's been
Yeah.
a whirlwind for you, I bet, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like I could still think clearly about that decision, and even my team, which was just I think 3 employees at the time when iHeart came to me about doing the show and this big decision, and I mentioned it to them, and a couple of them like, "Are you serious? You don't have time for that. That's going to take up time, and you're going to have too much on your plate." And then iHeart on the other side said, "Yeah, we want you to do a live show, and you can do this, and it's going to make a huge difference having you do this live and share your concepts and so on." And then Mike Scott in that one meeting saying it's going to be a life-changing decision for you. Oh yeah, I knew that because I got to do it every Saturday and it's live. And then I've got to take callers, but that's really not a big deal because I take live questions all of my career, sitting in meetings with individuals and families about their money. And unique to you, you typically are on the board here during the show on Saturdays and have done that for us, besides being a part of the relationship team at Gregory Ricks and Associates. You help out here on Saturdays and have done that for a few years, helping out on the board. But I'll add something different about you also is how did you get to doing this, working at the company, and then evolve to even doing the side gig, helping on the show? You became a client a few years back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of started with a client. So were you a show listener before that? What brought you to being a client?
Well, I was a show listener before that, and we became a client, and, was doing my other things for a while. And I remember I came on with you, and you said, "Hey, you want to check out the studio?" I said, "Well, hell yeah, I want to check out the studio. That's cool, And I came in, I checked out the studio. I'm like, "Man, this is pretty neat, And you said, "Hey, you look pretty comfy back there. You think you want to help me with this?" And I, "Gregory, I don't know nothing about a radio show." I said, I'm just doing what I can." You said, "I'll teach. I said, I don't know, Gregory. I don't know." And here we are a few years later, 15 for you, only about 3 or 4 for me. So, but, man, it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Look, me speaking for myself and my coworkers, we're glad that you took that opportunity to advance to that live radio show. It's changed all of our lives,
Yeah, it's obviously impacted. We just don't know because of the audience across the country, even global listeners, and then the families here in the Southeast that we help through the firm and offices, but we help people across the country, but we also impact the lives of the employees as well and their spouses and extended families that we help.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I enjoy about the working over there at Gregory Ricks is, all the people we meet, all the different people. And, I mean, I'm just sitting here telling the same story that all my colleagues done. Everybody's got, it's the same problem, but a unique solution. Everybody's got the same problem, but they got a unique solution to getting an end to their needs, to getting the lifestyles and the retirements that they want to live balanced,
Yeah.
And it like our retirements that they want to. It's been wow for the last few years working over there with you guys at the radio and at the firm.
We loved you as a client. We love you even more as working with the company as well, because you've brought so much value. It's always fun to see you every day and talk with you as well at the office. You enjoy your weekend off, and thanks for calling in and being a part of Winning at Life and Gregory Ricks and Associates. Appreciate you, Milton. Have a great weekend.
You too. Congratulations again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Man, he is an awesome teammate, and listeners that's called into the firm and looked at coming in. We've got him and Sarah on the relationship team, and they're great at what they do in helping our clients as well and those interested in the firm. Let's jump back to the Winning at Life hotline. We have Luke Malter joining us at this time. Hey, Luke, how are you doing?
Hey, doing well. Happy to be here. Big congratulations on the 15-year anniversary here. And, you know, it felt like just yesterday you were kind of starting off on the radio show, doing weeknights, and then kind of converting it to just doing it on Saturdays, and kind of big success that the radio show has. And just excited to be here, and big congrats on, you know, the 15-year mark here.
Yeah, your brother Lance had called in earlier in the show, and I kind of pulled the curtains back a little bit that they are family that's in the business. And I was just thinking, you know, when this decision was being made 15 and a half years ago, that was something that you were not even aware of. That was a big decision that was going on that created a lifetime commitment that would grow a firm. That you joined us well over a year ago. You were at another large firm after finishing up at LSU, and then you joined us. And it's been a blessing since you've joined us at the firm. You've progressed, and you're a tremendous talent as well. And you achieved your Certified Financial Planner certification this year. So congrats to you on that as well. Big achievement. And you are really good with people and very thorough, and oh my gosh, we are blessed to have you on part of the team. So it's kind of like we have family involvement. Luke Malter is our son. His mom is Stacy, my wife, and Lance also is with the firm. If you've just tuned in, we had him on the show in the first hour, so kind of pulling back the curtain. So there's family involvement as well to give security to the firm on a long-term basis as well. And you know, when you're a little firm, people are like, well, what if something happens to you? What if you retire? And such as that. And I kind of define it as it's evolved into a big machine that just keeps going. And it's not just about me. We've got over 20 people on staff. We've got 7 advisors and analysts on staff. So this firm is never about one person or 2 or 3 people, because we bring on talent like you, and you get to progress and grow with others doing the same. What's kind of one of the favorite things about the company, or you like or learned since you joined us?
Yeah, so, you know, I started my career kind of working at JP Morgan in New Orleans, and since I've kind of been with the firm here, Gregory Ricks, for over a year now, and just the team camaraderie here at the firm, we're a lot closer. We do a lot of things outside of the office together. I think that's kind of the big aspect for me, and wanting to join the firm here was kind of smaller team, working with, you know, more local families. And I think just being able to work together and kind of brainstorm and have that camaraderie is really kind of given me tremendous learning opportunities, you know, things that I didn't see when I was working at JP Morgan. So I think just the big team aspect on, you know, how close we are and being able to brainstorm with each other, it's kind of big for me.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of earlier in the show I had talked about like how we do training and such on Fridays, iron sharpening iron, and that's just meaning we all are good or great, and we've got some great people on the team, but we're always helping each other get better. And so kind of part of that is team meeting from the advisors and analysts in the morning time to catch up on new ideas or some coaching and stuff that we get on Zooms and thus. And then in the afternoon, we present to the other advisors on, you know, maybe do an example of going through a first meeting, getting to know a family and a prospect, kind of defined as a discovery meeting. How's that done? So somebody presents that, and then we go over cases as a group on how would we handle a second meeting and present a scenario, and you get feedback from the other advisors, which makes you stronger. And you probably hadn't experienced that anywhere, but oh my gosh, it's a blessing to have you on the team as well. And I was just thinking, like, you probably didn't know the magnitude of that decision I had to make 16 years ago to do this show.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for being a part of Winning at Life. Thank you for joining the firm last year. You bring a tremendous value to families in our community. You have a great weekend.
Glad to be on the team.
All right.
Huge congrats on the 15 years. Thanks so much.
All right. This is Winning at Life. We'll be right back.
You all are so good. I've listened to you for years.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I am near retirement, and I wish I would have been listening to y'all for the last couple of years.
Learn the ins, outs, do's, don'ts, rules, and tools of the financial world.
I have a broker who has no idea what you and I just talked about.
From your 401k to your IRA to your pension to your Social Security to your Medicare.
Hi, Greg. Appreciate your service to the community.
From your ETFs to your precious metals.
The program helps to ground me with some personal, real life there.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and wherever else you can find podcasts, probably.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Hey, I love your show.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. The firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
What does your ideal retirement look like? Is it traveling the world, fishing whenever you want, spending time with the grandkids, or maybe you don't know yet? Hi, I'm Gregory Ricks. Let us help you plan the retirement you deserve. Give us a call or go to GregoryRicks.com to schedule a visit. We are Gregory Ricks & Associates, the Total Wealth Authority.
The firm provides insurance services, investment, and advisory services. Offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management, LLC, and Gregory Ricks & Associates are not affiliated companies.
If you like money, you'll love the Winning at Life app. On the Winning at Life app, you can listen to the show live, or you can hear a replay of the latest episode of Winning at Life. Whether you're getting a late start on your retirement savings or keeping up with the financial news, Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is there on demand. Hear the Winning at Life show on the Winning at Life app, your wallet's favorite app.
We are living in historic times, extraordinary times. A lot of people need help right now, and I want you to remember your local food bank. Now here in New Orleans, it's Second Harvest Food Bank. Over in Mobile, they've got Feeding the Gulf. But you can find your local food bank, feedingamerica.org. Food donations, monetary donations, or I know you've got some free time. Find your local food bank. Support your local food bank, especially in times like this. Do some good. feedingamerica.org.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks is a copyright of Down South Strategies for the private use of our audience. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without express consent is prohibited. For podcasts, show information, and contacts to our sponsors, go to winningatlife.com or download the Winning at Life app. If you have a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Stevens, hundreds of protesters in Los Angeles Friday condemning ICE immigration raids. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem responding on Fox and Friends Weekend.
They don't have the backs of our law enforcement officers, and they put them in situations like this. These protesters were assaulting our officers, out there writing "Kill ICE," throwing things at them, attacking federal buildings, and perpetuating violence, and these politicians were encouraging it.
However, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass saying that neither she nor the LAPD had any idea the raids would take place. Alleged MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia back in the U.S. facing criminal charges, including trafficking allegations, saying
the defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit.
Attorney General Pam Bondi. America's listening to Fox News.
It can buy me a boat, buy me a truck to pull it. I'm pretty good on this radio show, but I'm not pretty good at singing, so I won't pain you anymore. But oh my gosh, love that song. Maybe so. We look for money to do things, and I have a boat now because I bought Stacy a boat, but it sets at a dock, so I don't have to pull it. The last thing I want to do is be able to take a boat in and out of the water and pull it somewhere. That looks like, my thought is, what kind of fun is that? That's kind of like work. You're listening to Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. This is our 15th anniversary show, so a lot of the team, advisors, analysts have been calling in today. And with that said, let's go to the Winning at Life hotline and add Haley to the 15th anniversary show. Haley, how are you?
Hey, Gregory. I'm doing well. How's it going? Congrats on 15 years at Winning at Life.
I know. Isn't that something? It's just,
it really is.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, one of the big things for me today is thinking about the decision early on of deciding to do it. Then I knew I had to get help. Of course, I've been a public speaker before doing the show. I presented to groups. I'm used to talking to people throughout the day, all day, but kind of getting on air in front of a mic was a new thing, and being prepared and to take live callers, because that's what iHeart wanted me to do, a show that involved. And one of the things I did after that was hire a radio coach that was from out in Oklahoma, and he came in and spent a couple weeks with me coaching up, and then coached me for the first couple years that I did the show. And I that's another example of coaching, and that's why utilizing a financial team, a financial advisor helping you with your money is a coach. We're great at what we do, but when somebody move into retirement, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to trade. I'm pretty good at trading and so forth. And you just don't know what you don't know. And I can't imagine starting this show without having utilized that coach at that time to get good at that, and then use that counseling. He's still a friend today, but we've used that. I used him for a great period of time along the way to get good at that, and I think that's one reason people ought to use a coach for their money, to make sure they're making good decisions, that they're on the right path. So for you, Haley, when you joined us, you were at an insurance firm, we'll just kind of put it as. What attracted you to Gregory Ricks and Associates?
Well, I was always interested in financial planning, and I heard you on the radio, so I said, hey, I'll give this firm a shot. And as soon as I stepped into the office, I fell in love. The staff was so friendly and kind and helpful, and just our team. I mean, I've listened to you a little bit today. Usually I catch the recordings, and just hearing everybody call in, this has been just so much fun and a great day. So
so you had listened to the show before ever discussing joining our firm then?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that story repeats itself over time, that people have been listeners before coming to work, or their spouse had, or significant other as listener to the show as well, where they weren't even aware of. They're like, tell them, well, I'm thinking about going to work for Gregory Ricks and Associates. What? You are? I've been listening to his show for a long time, or some family member of that. So there's so many connections that it turns out to that. Just to share a little bit about Haley, she is an analyst on the advisory team, and she's one of the teams that works with clients. And we utilize the team concept, and I kind of define it as where we've got two advisors, an analyst, a relationship person, a client services person connecting to all clients to make sure that not only do they kind of feel connected to their primary advisor, that's not the only person helping them and they're connected to, and that gives them comfort. If they can't meet with their advisor, they've got somebody else that they're very comfortable and connected to. And if any of those people leave, they're not being shorted or left out of something, because things do evolve. People do move on and so forth. What your thoughts on that concept to be my last question for you?
I mean, I agree with you. It's always good to have another face in these meetings, having a second person looking at things, and together we're all just able to learn from each other, and it just helps us serves our clients to our best ability.
Wow. Thank you so much for being a part of Winning at Life's 15th anniversary show, and thank you even more for being a part of Gregory Ricks and Associates and how you help the families that we look out for. Have a great weekend.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Gregory.
Let's jump over to the Winning at Life hotline and Jennifer Laquette. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Gregory, how are you? I've been listening to the show all day.
Yeah, this is pretty wow.
It's so hard to believe that it's been 15 years already.
Yeah. It's pretty wow on that. And you and I have known each other for a long time. We've known each other for a long time before you joined Gregory Ricks and Associates, because you were our rep years back over at iHeartRadio.
That's right. Gosh, yes. So I've kind of been with you a good long time through this radio thing, right?
Yeah. And we grew, our families become friends over the years, and your husband Ross I consider as a best friend as well, of how that's blossomed, and part of that was you inviting us to become a part of your tailgating group for LSU games, and we've done that for years as well now.
That's true.
So tremendous connections. And then you had left iHeart and went to another firm, and I remember we were having lunch one day because we're friends, so we would still get together and talk even though you weren't my rep at iHeart at that time. And then I believe that firm or something had some issues, and I suggested to you, well, why not join our firm? You know, and I posed that to you at lunch off the cuff there, and like, well, hey, we could use you at our company. I didn't ask you to make a big decision. I said, think about it for a few weeks, and when we have lunch again, let me know what you think. And so it evolved, and you've been with us for a number of years now. And you and I had lunch the other day kind of talking about the progress and how things were going. And I think that was one of the best questions I've ever asked at lunch to somebody, and that was to you to join our firm. And it's been a blessing for us. So what has impacted you over the years at the firm and the show? What's your thought on that?
Gosh, I love our clients. I love meeting them. I love meeting their spouses when we have events, when they call in, just to see their progress. And, I mean, our team is wonderful. It's a lot of fun working at Gregory Ricks and Associates. It really is. And the radio thing's just extra. So coming from a radio background like I do, it's a natural fit. So I love it. And you starting this show 15 years ago, you know, you weren't looking for anything. You were looking for a show to talk about, educate people, take questions if they had concerns or wanted to know something financially. That's how it all got started. And look where you are today.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of you, and I couldn't be more thankful to be working with you.
Yeah, so for us to still be doing this, to have that many employees means a lot of people.
Wow.
And if you're not helping people, then you're not growing and getting better. And one of my things I always talk about is always personal development and bettering yourself, which allows us to help other families also. So thank you so much for being a part of my family's life, being a friend, and being a part of this show and helping it get started a long
Same
time
to you,
ago.
Gregory. Go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers. Big game today. Have a great weekend, Jen. See you Monday.
You
This
too.
is Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks. I think Stacy's going to join us next segment, my wife. We'll be right back.
If you've got a financial situation and you're not quite sure what to do, you better call Gregory.
I started my retirement about 5 years ago, and I truly am late in life.
Would I be better to just withdraw the money out of my GSP and pay that mortgage off?
My problem is I have champagne tasting of your salary. What is a balloon note?
Is that cutting it too close?
So will I still be eligible for Medicare?
Is there anything better I can do with the money I transferred into the Roth from my 401k? My goal is to retire at age 60. I'm 54 right now.
Hey, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's got probably $2,500. And is there anything we can invest it in?
And I just started a 401k a little late in life.
Then I should be like 10%.
Now, how far in advance do you recommend that someone goes to visit the Social Security office?
I want some money in a casino playing poker.
Gregory Ricks and Associates, 504-832-9200 or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Oh, Rover, you have fleas again? Prevent fleas and ticks from setting up shop in your backyard. Those bloodsuckers can bite up to 400 times a day and carry nasty diseases like typhus and tapeworms. Give Rover some relief and contact Mosquito Joe. Their mosquito control services also kill and prevent fleas and ticks. Let Mosquito Joe be your first line of defense against those blood-sucking pests. NewOrleans.MosquitoJoe.com. NewOrleans.MosquitoJoe.com.
Ask Gregory is a financial podcast from the guys who bring you Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.
I'm your host, Gregory Ricks, a financial advisor here to answer your questions and help you win with your money.
Find the Ask Gregory podcast on the Winning at Life app, the iHeartRadio app, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
That's exactly what I needed to know. Simple information from good people.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Ricks Report with Gregory Ricks.
At the core, I always tell people, I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here to make sure you don't run out of money, that you don't run out of income. That's how I look at my job. Over time, saving, making good decisions can make you rich. But what you have is, what is your core thing? Your core thing should be making money. And your core thing, you should set aside money to work elsewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to put it to risk. You could put it to safety. But your core thing makes you money, or you tell me your core thing is the market, day trading, or gambling in the market. It shouldn't be. You should have a core thing that makes you money, and you peel some off for the future when you're done with your core.
Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks, Saturday mornings at 10 on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Find us on the Winning at Life app or GregoryRicks.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Hey, y'all.
And if you threw a party,
Thanks for listening.
you would see the biggest gift would
Oh,
be, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a
just having a moment here. Thinking of all the people we've impacted. It's wow. This is Winning at Life. I'm your host, Gregory Ricks. This is the 15th anniversary episode. Let's bring Stacy on air. Hey, Stacy, this is my wife. And
hey, my love, congratulations on 15 years.
Hey, babe.
It's amazing. Oh, of the radio show, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And this show wouldn't be possible without you, that's for sure. I wouldn't be sitting in the studio that you had built out for me to when we were starting the did the weeknight show for 7 years, and to save me a couple hours a day by having that studio here. But now it evolved into doing it in our studio on Saturdays for years. I'd drive into New Orleans City and did the show at the iHeart studio for years, and then finally we switched over to this, which we're blessed. This is when you think about what you pulled off and built, this is a legit. You walk in any place and you see this studio, you'd like, wow, what a studio. It's professional, not something just set up like, a corner chair with a podcast mic or something. We have full operations here, and thank you.
You're so welcome. And, the show, as you've said, it is so impactful to so many groups. First and foremost, the community and the public, right? All the education information is gold. All these things you talk about are so important to so many people, and it's real life, and they can relate to it. And so what that does is it builds trust, and then people want to become clients. And so then what that does is it allows us to grow and build, and it's very important to the longevity of the company. And then we're able to hire more people. Our coworkers and their families are also all impacted by it. And then they in turn show the love to all of the clients, and then the company, because of that, has even more longevity. So it's a big circle that's just so amazing. And it essentially all started from the radio, and it's amazing, but just the gold that comes out every week, especially when people call in, it's like there may be many listeners saying, hey, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's happening to me. And so it's profound when you do get that answer, and then they're like, they feel kind of relieved because, of course, they didn't call in, but someone else did it for them. But there's also I want to also say a great big shout out to David DeCorbier, who is on the board at iHeart, who makes all this actually happen for 3 hours on Saturdays. Shout out to you, David, and the playlist today was amazing. Also, most of the people we've heard from today are the tip of the spear, right? The advisors, the analysts who are, making the plans, helping people with their decisions, their goals, where they want to be, that in those visits, doing what they do. But, all the people behind the scenes too. And I know marketing, Jen with marketing called, and she is also tip of the spear, right? Because without marketing, this all wouldn't be happening. But also the team, client services, the relationship team, the exec team, right? They're all behind the scenes, and that also makes all this go. So we're all in this together, and it's just been a great ride. But it's the radio that facilitated all what's happening, like you said, from having 3 employees to now 23 employees, right? So that slow and steady growth has been great for, again, the community, the clients, our coworkers, and of course the company, and they all go hand in hand, and they keep feeding each other, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and even beyond that, and it kind of started out with a dream a few decades ago, and I just always thought that I would just have be a little firm and be happy with that. But sometimes a vision grows beyond what you expect or think it can do when you make good decisions, do the right things, help people, and the path takes you somewhere different. And I didn't expect to have multiple advisors and multiple offices and this many employees, but I didn't think I was going to impact tens of thousands of lives. And I go back and say none of this would be possible without you as well, because you are behind the scenes, and Gregory Ricks and Associates wouldn't be what it is without you. And most people don't realize the impact and the critical thinking and the analytics, and what you're really great at is done behind the scenes and crunching numbers and looking at data, just stuff that you are, and the only time you got on a mic in the studio, you kind of froze up, but whenever you call in, you got plenty to say, and what you do is, when I have these grand ideas and ideas of what we want to achieve next and all, then you dig in and help make that happen, even though you're not so sure we would be doing this or could do this. You dig in and support me and back me up in that, and this show wouldn't be what it is today without your support over the years, and Gregory Ricks and Associates wouldn't be the same without you. And you look back and look at these big decisions that we've made and kind of maybe don't think so much of it then, but to look back and see how impactful it is, and have our kids in the business, and Emily's even here on the board today helping out with the show today. But it's just unbelievable ride with you to get here.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. And that's also why I wanted to make sure that I touched on the behind the scenes people, because, that doesn't always, people just don't know. But also, Milton had called in, and he runs the board. He and Lance both run the board. Of course, he's been doing it a lot longer, but, again, this wouldn't happen without them running the board, which is what Emily's doing today. And she did it for some time in the past as well. And, it takes us all. And I appreciate all that you said. That means a lot.
Yeah, I love you so much.
Love you, honey.
I'll see you in a few minutes. Hey, David on the board.
All right.
Right there.
Again, congrats.
Mic up, David. Thank you, David, for being a part of what makes things happen behind the scenes, and taking the calls and fixing the technical problems, and the rest of the iHeart people that have made this possible. Y'all, this is it for the anniversary episode. We'll be back next Saturday with more of Winning at Life. I appreciate all of you so much. Y'all have a blessed, safe weekend.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Gregory Ricks and Associates, Incorporated. AE Wealth Management does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Gregory Ricks and Associates, Incorporated are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio show was intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for a financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Gregory Ricks and Associates is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completedness cannot be guaranteed by Gregory Ricks and Associates. Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences, including but not limited to a need for additional tax withholding or estimated tax payments, the loss of certain tax deductions and credits, and higher taxes on Social Security benefits and higher Medicare premiums. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. Neither AE Wealth Management nor advisors providing investment advisory services through AE Wealth Management recommend or facilitate the buying or selling of cryptocurrencies. Third parties and guests of the show are not affiliated with, nor do their opinions reflect those of Gregory Ricks and Associates or AE Wealth Management. AE Wealth Management provides services without regard to political affiliation, and the views of individual advisors are not necessarily the views of AE Wealth Management. We are winning at life with Gregory Ricks.
WRNO FM, New Orleans, #1 on your presets, in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.